Hello everybody and welcome back to OMB Reviews. I am the critic who is a cynic, hope you're doing well, and today we're going to be talking about Disney, Warner Brothers, and really the entirety of Hollywood and how their response to the Russian invasion of Ukraine is just really showcasing and exposing the complete hypocrisy of their business model. I saw this story today, was reading Disney's comments and statement, and it just made my blood boil because while they're making statements about Russia, while they're talking about Russia, they still remain completely mum about China and the blatant human rights violations that we know have been going on in that country for decades at this point in time. And it's just so infuriating to see Disney trying to get good PR by saying, look, we're taking a stand against Russia. We're going to hold back our movies on Russia. We're not going to work with Russia. But guess what? We're still going to have our films released in China. Do not fall for this PR campaign. Do not fall for what Disney, Warner Brothers, and all the other studios are going to be doing by trying to pander to what's good and popular, what's in the mainstream news, what's in the mainstream media, because that's the only reason why they're doing this. That's the only reason why they're doing this. If the mainstream media actually gave a damn about what's going on in China and covered all the atrocities there on a daily basis, shoved that down everyone's throats, I'm sure their tune would change very, very quickly. But oh no, can't talk about that, can't go into those details, can't do anything about that and those human rights violations. But when it comes to Russia, oh man, we're taking a stand. We're going to take a stand against Russia. It's ridiculous. And I know that this is definitely mixing a bit of movie news, box office news with some politics, but this was just something I feel like had to be talked about, had to be called out, because this is infuriating. Smash the like button, light the fire button. Let's go ahead and just get started on this. Disney pausing its theatrical releases in Russia following the invasion of the Ukraine, and the MPA has even weighed in on this as well. Oh, great. I know, River. I'm frustrated too. I'm mad as hell. Hollywood hasn't been the most bullish about taking an action that would dent its bottom line, but Disney today has taken the bold move of pulling its theatrical releases from Russia temporarily in response to the country's invasion of Ukraine. Ooh, okay. Oh, yeah. Oh, he's so brave. So stunning and so brave. What about China? What about any other country in the world where there are much more flagrant violations and long-term violations of human rights? What about the Uyghur Muslims in China? Well, how about the fact that you thanked a paramilitary group that was literally in charge of one of the concentration camps of the Uyghur Muslims? How about that, Disney? Let's talk about that. Let's actually go into it. If you want to actually talk about standing up for something, let's talk about what you have done in providing the CCP millions upon millions of dollars, because we all know when you put your movies out in China, the vast majority of that money goes directly to the CCP. And you think they're using it for helping out humanity? Pure hubris. We hear that other studios were scrambling to formulate their own strategies. It's all about PR. Disney has set the tone, issuing an economic ban against a market that minted more than $445 million at the box office last year, as much as $1.3 billion in 2013. Oh, all the way back in 2013? How much has China gotten for them? Let's talk about that. I wonder if Deadline will even have the cojones to go there. Given the unprovoked invasion of Ukraine and the tragic humanitarian crisis, this is the rich part. The tragic humanitarian crisis. You're going to talk about humanitarian crisis. Again, what about China? We are pausing the release of theatrical films in Russia, including the upcoming Turning Red from Pixar. Oh man, Russia's really going to care about Turning Red, which is going to be free on Disney+. Ooh, good job, Disney. Really taking a stand. We will make future business decisions based on the evolving situation. In the meantime, given the scale of the emerging refugee crisis, we are working with our NGO partners to provide urgent aid and other humanitarian assistance to refugees. What about China? Are you helping them? Are you taking a stand against them? No? Then shut up. It's not clear how long Disney's ban of its movies in Russia will be going on. Disney's Doctor Strange is set to kick off on May 6th. The most recent MCU title, Spider-Man No Way Home, grossed $45 million in Russia. The NPA on Monday issued its first statement since the Ukraine invasion began, saying, "The Motion Picture Association stands with the international community in upholding the rule of law and condemning Russia's invasion of Ukraine. On behalf of our member companies who lead the film, TV, and streaming industry, we express our deepest support for Ukraine's vibrant creative community who, like all people, deserve to live and work peacefully." What about the people in China? Where is your statement about them, MPA? It goes on. Warner Brothers has also pulled the Batman. Meanwhile, Warner Brothers is sticking to its March 3rd release of The Batman in Russia. Exhibition in that country is privately owned, not state-owned like China. Oh, okay, so now we're playing apologist. Okay, gotcha. Again, country is privately owned, not state-owned like China, so there isn't a national ban on U.S. films. Pulling the pic's release is not in the cards for the studio financially, as the DCP already is over in Russia. Not to mention a marketing campaign has been rolled out. Universal and Warner Brothers have a joint ventures in foreign markets, and in the case of the Batman, while it goes out with a Warner Brothers logo, it's been serviced by Universal. The latter studio is contractually committed to Warner Brothers to release the Batman in Russia, and couldn't veer if it even so desired. Ah, yes. What I love about that is that they kind of throw in there saying it's not state-owned like China. So what you're telling me is that all this is doing, the moves that Disney is doing by withholding, turning red. That's really going to show them, Disney. By withholding turning red and making your bold little statement and withholding the Batman, at least for a little while until you're contractually obligated to fulfill it, all that you're doing in Russia is hurting privately owned businesses. So you're hurting the businesses of people who may or may not be supportive of what is going on right now. You're hurting the people who have probably been most negatively impacted by COVID restrictions, which you were all in support of, at least in this country. Ah, I see. But not so much when it comes to the, state-owned, country-owned, CCP-owned businesses in China. Won't stand up against them, now will you? Ridiculous. Insanity. And then it goes on just to talk about all the different movies that are coming out. It goes on to say, the United States, European Union, UK, and Canada are among those hammering Russia with sanctions over their invasion of Ukraine. And all that it does for me, as terrible as that situation is, and it should be condemned, all it does to me is really, again, show the glaring hypocrisy by the fact that we're not seeing similar action being taken, especially by Hollywood, when it comes to China's human rights violations. Again, a separate article here talking about the Batman being pulled. And again, I just think it's hilarious that Disney's like, they took a stand. Shortly after Disney took a stand this afternoon and paused the theatrical release of Pixar's Turning Red. Oh man, what a stand. What a stand. Stunning and brave. Stunning and brave. In light of the humanitarian crisis in Ukraine, Warner Media is pausing the release of its feature film, The Batman in Russia. We will continue to monitor the situation as it evolves. We hope for a swift and peaceful resolution to this tragedy. What about the Uyghur Muslims? What about that tragedy? What about the tragedy going on every single day in the Chinese communist-run country? Nothing? Nothing about that? Yeah. Look at this. The Batman is getting a theatrical release in China, unlike Marvel's movies of late, scheduled for March 18th. Ah, okay. So you're still willing to work and not take a stand with Russia, who you even admit in another article has state-owned theaters, meaning it goes directly to the government, it goes directly to the CCP, which is guilty of countless numbers of human rights violations. Oh, but man, because this is in the mainstream media, because this is in the mainstream news, you will take a stand by withholding films like Turning Red and temporarily holding the Batman, even though you also admit, or at least in this article admits that, because of, contractual obligations, they actually have to release that film in China, or rather, in Russia. They didn't say anything about. This should make anyone who has a heart and who has a brain furious. They are, again, spitting in your face with a comment like this. Look at this. Given the unprovoked invasion of Ukraine and the tragic humanitarian crisis. Where's your statement, Disney, about China? That's what I want to know. That's what River wants to know. That's what every single person wants to know. When are you going to take a stand against that country? When are you going to take a stand against the country that provides a hell of a lot more money to you yearly than Russia? See, withholding Turning Red, that's not going to impact you. That's not going to have really much of an impact on you at all. Again, I'm pretty sure at one point I heard that Turning Red was set to be released even on Disney Plus. So yeah, big loss there. Withholding the Batman. Based on this, it says, it's only going to be withheld for a little bit because, of contracts. When are you going to take a stand? An actual stand, a real stand against China? That's what I want to know, Disney. That's what I want to know, Warner Brothers. That's what I want to know, any major Hollywood studio still doing work with the CCP. Anyway, had to get that out there, had to talk about it because this is blood boiling. What are y'all's thoughts? Do you think that Hollywood will ever stand up to China? Do you think that they should? What are your thoughts about any of these things? And again, I know a lot more political in nature than we tend to, but I thought that this was incredibly important for us to talk about because as much as it is a good thing for people to condemn the actions of Russia, to completely ignore and gloss over and make statements that clearly show your hypocrisy, tragic humanitarian crisis, while ignoring the crises that's been going on and that have been going on in China for decades, is ludicrous and atrocious. Let me know your thoughts. Comments below. Again, if you like this video, smash the like button, 5 button. You're all amazing. February shout-out video will be at the end of this video. March shout-out video will be updated as the days go on. Again, sorry, not really in the promoting mood with this kind of nonsense. Anyway, have a wonderful day, everybody. Pray for peace in our world. Pray for the people of not just Ukraine, but also pray especially for the people of China as well. And pray that one day we're able to break through the state-run education, the state-run media, so that way they can understand and realize just how much they are being oppressed, what is actually going on in their own country, so that they can eventually take a stand. Anyway, have a wonderful day, everybody. And as always, God bless. And now for a huge shout out to all of my Patreon Subscribe Star and Locals members, starting off with Patreon animation commentator Brandon, let's go Brandon, Brian P, Christopher Bowman, Father Christopher Miller, hail to you Father, Father Damian Cook, Fuzz Aldrin, Garrett Searles, Hannibal Grimm, Harold Francis, Hymir Ari Hymason, Inflamed Wood, Jacob Juice, Jeffrey Toon, Joe Horn, Jonathan Carney, Gomer Kyles 79, Laura, The Modern Major General's Story, Mike Jackson, Mad Mitch Dunaway, Mondo Spieler, Mr. Peabody, On to June, Orange Hat Reviews, Out of Step with Reality, Priscilla Hall, Rosetta Ellen, Stan Andrian, Teresa Martin, or Miss Martin Muses, Theodore Benden, Tina Bojan, and Tina B, the Empress of the Universe. Thank you very much for supporting me over on Patreon. Also to my Subscribe Star peeps, UAB Mad Dog, which is Mr. Mike Jackson, Storm Tracker, The R, Fast Reaction, Nosferatu Gatsu, Stand 4, John B, Mr. Roy, Glinzer, J. Alex McCarthy Jr., Dean Heiss / the new number 2, J-Rod the Beer Guru, and ZK-Man. And also a huge shout out to the newest members over on Subscribestar, TL John, Trent Johnson, and Matt317. Thank you all very much for supporting me over on the Subscribestar platform. And to my 3 local supporters, we got Kara Tharp, UAB Mad Dog, which is once again Mike Jackson, super supporter over there, and Robert Barnes. Thank you very much for supporting me over on the Locals platform. And if you want your name shouted out at the end of every live stream and video, please think about signing up on either of those platforms. You can find a link in the description below that will lead you to all of those different pages. It is known as the Willow link, as it is w.lo link, and it will have all the links to that, to the Discord channel, to all different kinds of places, including places to support me as well. At the Citizen of Asgardian level, you get Citizen of Asgardian level is how it's labeled on Patreon. Still need to fix that, but Citizen of Asgard level, you get a shout out at the end of every live stream and video. If you join at the Army of Asgard level, you also access to a giveaways channel, which is featured on the Discord that I have. I know, River, it is very exciting. It is so exciting. where you get giveaways for things like 4K titles, Steelbook titles, etc. Again, I got some 4K Steelbooks of The Punisher, for instance. I've got 4Ks of tons of other movies, so I'm giving those away all the time. So if that sounds interesting to you, join the Army of Asgard level. Also, at the Keep of the Bifrost level, you get all of that stuff, plus you get access to a once a month and maybe twice a month. We're trying to add an extra podcast in there of me and John the Flick Pick Flickinger, where we talk about movies, and also you get to ask your questions. Any questions that you want to ask, you get to ask with that podcast. And then you have the Chosen of Valhalla level, which gives you access to all of those, and also a once a month podcast where you get to be featured with me on the main channel. We all get to talk together about movies, culture, pop culture, anything really that the Chosen want to talk about, or anything the Chosen wants to promote is on the table. So if you like that, join at the Chosen of Valhalla level. Also, during your first month of support, you get a free t-shirt. Any t-shirt that you want from the main store, you get access to, and I do ship internationally anywhere in the world. Anyway, you guys are all amazing and beautiful people. Hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. And as always, God bless.